Welcome to episode 115 of the Thunder Underground podcast. My name is Trent. I'm joined by Jason. And are you ready for some Night Demon?
I'm ready.
Yeah. Why are you ready? Because Night Demon's amazing.
They bring the heavy metal heat.
Yeah, that do. They've got this new album coming out here in just like 3 weeks now.
Yeah.
Or under 3 weeks.
Yes, on Century Media.
Yeah. Their first album was also on Century Media, right? And
Yes.
It's a barn burner, so to speak.
That's right.
And I imagine this next one's going to be the same way because this first single that they put out is extremely good. They're extremely good live. We're going to talk about all that here in a bit. We got all three members, which is really cool. So before we get to that, we're going to play some music and, I don't know, talk about a couple other things. First thing I wanted to mention was Less Than Human won this Rocklahoma Madness contest.
Yes.
To play the River Spirit casino stage at Rocklahoma, which is the second stage, basically. There's big-time acts that play this stage, and they've got an opening slot. I think it's the Friday, but don't quote me on that.
Mm-hmm.
But regardless, this will be good for them because they're a badass band with a great stage show, stage presence, and I think people are receptive to that kind of stuff, especially at a festival.
Definitely. Yeah, and they're gonna kick the day off. It's gonna be pretty cool.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, Rocklahoma's done pretty good or not just Rocklahoma, I mean these, whatever that is, the Danny Wimmer festivals.
Yes.
The last 2, 3, 4 years of adding, heavy bands to these bills.
Yeah.
Whether they be classic bands like Testament and Suicidal and Anthrax, to newer ones like Devil Driver and Hatebreed and Mastodon and Gojira. So it's great that Less Than Human's getting on this stage to showcase that because people always respond to that kind of stuff really well, I think, out there from what I've seen.
Yeah, people are going to love Less Than Human.
Yeah.
Telling you.
Yeah, check them out. If you're not familiar with them, they're from Tulsa. Look them up on Facebook. And like we've said 42 other times in this podcast, hopefully they'll be on here soon.
Yeah. And we're going to make it happen.
Yeah. It's not them, it's us.
Yeah,
dragging our feet for some reason, right?
Yeah, we are scheduling morons.
Right?
Yeah, we can't keep anything fucking straight.
Yeah. Well, you want to play some music?
Yes, we should.
We're going to play this band out of Kansas City, Missouri, called Custom Black. Check this song out. It's called She Rides. Rides from Custom Black from their album Smoke Show Rise. These guys are out of Kansas City, Missouri. What are the best words to describe this other than holy shit?
Yeah, no kidding. I mean, just riff-tastic, heavy as balls. God.
Yeah.
I was, I think Steve Ray recommended them, talked about them on last time he was on the show.
Yeah.
And,
yeah, they
thank
actually
you,
played...
Steve Ray, you were right. These guys are great.
Yeah, they played that day of Halata Fest later that evening.
Yes.
That
yeah.
second day.
Yeah.
We weren't there later that night. But yeah, I mean, I'd love to see these guys live. It's a power trio out of Missouri, and they've just got that groovy, stonery, doomy kind of rock. His voice is perfect for their sound. The song has that, that low, heavy end. And
yes.
It's not dark, but I mean, it is dark, but his voice makes it sound brighter, and the end of it's got that real ominous tone, but it's still not. It's still, even though it's ominous, it makes me feel good.
Yeah, and, there's a hook, and that's always, I mean, you gotta love it.
Yeah, I mean, this whole album's fantastic. I mean, there's 7 tracks on it, and I listen to it, and it makes me feel like, that the world's on the right track.
Yes,
when there's when there's new music like this in it.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, these guys are on Bandcamp. That album's also on Spotify and iTunes, I believe, so do yourself a favor, check this thing out. They're, like I said, Custom Black. Look them up on Facebook and follow them. Well, I got a complete 180 here for you.
Good. I'm trying to figure one out, and so you have one, so that's good.
Because I've got an opinion on this, I just want to hear your opinion.
Okay.
Neither one of us are, noted non-fans of the Eagles.
Okay.
But obviously we respect these guys.
This better be good. Right. If we're talking about the Eagles, there better be some kind of caveat or fucking... I mean, I'm like fucking Big Lebowski. I just don't fucking like the Eagles.
No, yeah, I've said that my whole life.
Okay.
You know that.
I mean, and this is a more heavier leaning show, so there better be some kind of twist to this or something.
Hey, we've gone out the box many times.
I know. I shouldn't be such an idiot.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
We talked about it after Glenn Fry passed away.
Yeah.
But that's the reason I bring it up, is because they announced that they're playing this festival in New York and LA.
Yeah.
I already forgot the name of it. Legend or Classic, the Classic, I think. And it's
it's called the Cha-Ching Festival.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's kind of a play, I think, off of the success from that desert trip.
Yeah.
Even though that was 6, massive bands, this is like 2 or 3 massive bands and 2 or 3 other notable classic rock bands. But the point of my bringing this up is that the Eagles are playing shows again. So what's your thoughts on that?
I don't know. If you'd asked me a while back in any of these bands, I would have said no, they shouldn't do that. That's kind of, you're just, I don't know, you're just kind of, it's not cool.
Yeah.
But I don't know, you got to think about it. And this is what I've said for a lot of bands for a lot of different reasons. If you can still fill a room, fuck, why not? Do it.
Yeah.
And I always ride the line with that kind of thing. It seems odd for the Eagles to do shows without Glenn Fry. It'd be like, Metallica doing a show without James Hetfield or something. Or, insert whatever. So I don't, man, I don't know.
Well, you brought up the
I want to say no, don't do it. But fuck, a bunch of people are going to buy tickets and a bunch of people are going to love it. So, well, who am I? Well, why should I say anything about it, So, I don't know. That's kind of where my head's at when these things get kind of brought up.
Yeah. Well, you brought up the point that, if they can people are still going to pay to see them, what's it matter to us or to anyone else?
Yeah.
Foreigner is the great example we've brought up before.
Yeah, exactly.
They go out and play without a single original.
There's no one left in that goddamn band.
But with the Eagles, it's like, they're obviously not going to replace him with someone.
No.
So, my question, I think it would be pretty cool, honestly, if they went out and did a show and didn't play a single Glenn Fry song. I mean, I know that would make a lot of butthurt people if they don't get to hear Take It Easy or something, but you got to think this is a rare band that has 3 iconic voices in it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, as far as that kind of stuff goes.
Yeah.
And I mean, Hotel California, arguably their biggest hit, wasn't sung by him, so that's not an issue.
Yeah.
So I just think it'd be cool as shit if they went out and did this. You know, maybe did like Take It Easy, you know, and had some shit on the screen, and then the rest of the time just played the songs that Joe Walsh or Don Henley sang.
Yeah. Well, let me ask you this: maybe do you think Glenn Frey would be okay with it?
I don't. You know, everybody that anytime anyone dies, obviously this is what they would have wanted.
Yeah. You
always hear that.
Yeah, definitely.
And you know, a lot of times that's true. You know, if I pass away, I want you to carry on this podcast because that's what I would have wanted.
That's true. I'll get like one of your cousins or something.
Yeah.
Well, you know,
or Joe Walsh.
Yeah.
Timothy B. Schmidt.
That's right. Well, that's what I think, and you know, I don't know. It's you know, it's like could you do Motorhead without Lemmy? You know, you can't.
But
so
that's where the
different though.
The different lies is because they had a ton of hits that Glenn Frey didn't sing.
Different voices and stuff.
Obviously, he had a hand in writing and
so yeah,
playing as well.
Everything's different. Every band's different. So I don't know. I don't know. I gotta go with a blanket statement of, wow, there's dudes on stage with guitars and people are, you know, showing up. So hey, more power to you.
Yeah.
You know, and there you go.
Yeah.
That's what I think.
Yeah, I mean, I was surprised when I saw that they announced it because that's one of those bands I thought just wouldn't do anything. But
yeah.
At the same time, we're not really surprised.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
So whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, you want to take another 180?
Yes. Bring all the 180s on.
Yeah. The new Body Count album.
Yes.
I don't know if you listened to
I've heard. I keep meaning to, but I haven't. I heard the new Jasta record.
Yeah.
You know, which we could talk about that a little bit if you wanted to.
Yeah.
But I haven't heard the Body Count record yet. I heard Ice-T on Jamie Jasta's podcast, and it was epic as always. So yeah, I did hear the cover of Raining Blood.
Yeah. Well, what do you think of that?
That was badass.
Yeah.
That was pretty brutal, pretty lethal. I liked it.
Well, we know musically they're going to pull this off because Ernie, you know, C's badass.
Yeah.
But, like, Ice-T, notably, he's not a singer. He says it himself. You know, it's not like Tom Araya's got, like, the voice of an angel or something that he's trying to replicate. But I was just kind of surprised at how well his voice lended to that song.
Yeah, me too. I think it was great. I'm not, I've said this before, I'm not a rap fan at all. I mean, there's very, very little rap that I think, is any good. And, that's mostly old stuff. But that doesn't mean I can't be but I've always enjoyed Ice-T. He does a million different things. He's smart. And, Body Count's always been, badass. They push the envelope and they really make you think. And so anything new from them is good. We need more of them around, I think.
Yeah. I listened to this.
And they're, like I said, they push the envelope and they piss people off, and we need more of that. There's too many pussies out there these days.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. Let's just.
Okay, I listened to this thing, and after one listen straight through, I think it's their best album.
Really? Nice.
Even better than Debut.
Okay.
And I've listened to it twice now, and I pinned it and changed the second time, but anyway, it's just, when I listened to it, I listened to the album they came out with 2 or 3 years ago, and then the stuff they did, the couple of albums they had in between 92 and now. And this is just by far to me the most cohesive, complete album where like every song just is great. And it's like, they've always been one of those bands that they don't put out filler bullshit. And like Ice-T, is notably very political in his lyrics, whether it be with rap or Body Count, especially Body Count.
Yes.
And this is no different. And it's great, like you said. He pisses people off, and that's the one thing I love about him is that very few celebrities like that. Because Ice-T, everybody knows who Ice-T is, even if they don't know a damn song at all.
Yeah, because, everybody watches his TV show and sees him on a Geico commercial or, his movies or whatever.
Right. And a guy that recognizable, usually people that recognizable are nowhere near as straightforward as Ice-T is
Yeah.
with his opinions on it. He'll say anything. And the funny thing is, usually when guys are like that, I'm like, well, that's cool, but I agree with like half of what they say.
Mm-hmm.
When I listen to Ice-T talk, I usually agree with like 90% of what he says.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, well, because he's right. I mean, he's right. Get over it. He's fucking right.
Yeah.
And another thing that, we're into this now and I want to say is, a lot of times when guys like this cross over to genres or, actors try to do music or, musicians try to act or, rap to metal or, rock to country, whatever. A lot of this stuff doesn't come off genuine.
Right.
And this is genuine as genuine could possibly be. Ice-T knows his metal. He's not fucking around and he's not just trying to get a paycheck and he's not just trying to tap into another audience. This is in his heart and he knows the bands and he knows what to do and how to do it. And I mean, this is the real deal.
Yeah.
So there you go.
Yeah. Well, you want to know something completely a random out of the blue thing about body count?
Yes.
It, we all know Ernie C's a guitarist and done production and all that stuff, but I didn't. This could be common knowledge, maybe you knew, but one day, like a few weeks ago, I was just like bored and I was like reading Wikipedia shit about random things that I don't even know how I got down this rabbit hole, but I was reading about all the Black Sabbath albums that had nothing to do with Ozzy or Dio. Mm-hmm. And, I'd listened to them all at one point, but there's those Tony Martin ones that I never, delved too deep into, like I did the Glenn Hughes one and the Dio ones.
Yeah.
But the last Sabbath album with Tony Martin in like 95 after he came back after Dio, Ernie C produced that.
Really?
Yeah. So there you go.
I'll be a son of a bitch. I did not know that.
Well, there you go. Now you know.
That's awesome.
If this was on TV, that little star would come across and said, the more you know.
The more you know. See, that's great. That's why we do this. I learn something new every time we do this kind of thing. Right. That's awesome.
But yeah, this body count album is in your face if you don't like hearing about, guys getting gunned down by cops, and this kind of great stuff might not be for you, but hey, Ice-T speaks the truth.
Yes, he does. And I'd like to say that their cover from their last record of Institutionalized is fucking amazing. And the whole verse about trying to get his password is me like all the way. And so, I mean, that hit me. It hit me. It went home for me, man.
Well, that was cool. He kept the chorus the same, but changed all the verses to fit basically today or issues with him. Yeah. Instead of the stuff that Mike Muir talked about 30 years ago. Yeah. 35 years ago.
I just want to kill motherfuckers on my Xbox.
Yeah. Well, and speaking of that album, there's a song with Jamie Jasta called Pop Bubble, which
that's great.
Is great. And so speaking of Jasta.
Yeah, that's the Lost Chapters. It came out this past Friday. Yeah. Just Jasta. Look it up. I mean, it's got some great stuff on there. It's only 9 songs, but I like that kind of thing. There's a song with Howard Jones from The Devil You Know. And, it's pretty much, what you'd expect, but there's a few different parts that are a little bit more singy, a little more melodic from Jasta. So, I mean, as he says, it's a banger. Right. There's not a bad song on there. There's some great riffs. And that's just another guy that I like. I like that guy's hustle. I mean, he does a million different things and he's got ideas out the ass and, he writes cause, he plays guitar himself. So, I mean, just go look this record up. Yeah. He's talked about that a few times on his podcast with the Jasta project is that he tries to expand his voice cause he knows he's like, any artist can do what they want, but he knows that if he did that with Hatebreed, it would alienate a lot of their fans. Yeah, definitely.
Which, you would think, well, he's an artist. He can do what he wants, but at the same time, he's smart too. So yeah. But yeah, like, you said it's a compilation of all the stuff, from the last few years. And like Deadly Business has been out a couple years. And I've always listened to that every once in a while. And and that badass cover of Buried Alive it was a bonus track on the Dio tribute album.
Gotcha, yeah.
And it wasn't on the CD itself, but it was on like the iTunes and Spotify versions.
Yeah. Yeah,
and that's such a great cover. You wouldn't think, you don't think when you think a Dio cover, you don't expect Jasta to be pulling it off, but he sounds great doing it. So
there's a song called "The Same Flame," which I know he's played on a couple episodes of his podcast. It's really good.
Is that the one that was written with Mark Morton?
I don't know because I don't know the title, and I would figure that it would say. It doesn't say, so I'd have to Google it. But yeah, I know one of the songs he wrote with Mark Morton from Lamb of God. And like he said, and he's smart, he's kind of, he wants to do other things, and he's just kind of, he knows that he can, he can tap into that singing voice, and it's not bad, so, why not?
Yeah.
I'd say something different if the record was bad, but it's not, so, Yeah,
he's on tour right now. I don't know if that's started yet, but he's opening the Anthrax Killswitch Engage tour this month.
Yeah, I think it started, yeah.
So pretty cool stuff.
And what I think, one of the things in his VIP packages is you can get up and jam with him.
Oh, wow.
Jam a song with him, yeah, if you know how to play. I guess they teach
you
the song
guitar
real
or bass
quick.
or
Yeah,
something?
probably on something pretty simple.
Wow.
And that's really cool.
Yeah.
I don't know how much that would be, but it'd probably be worth it.
Yeah.
So.
Definitely. Well, let's talk about Night Demon.
Let's get into this.
Yeah, these guys, would you describe them as like new wave of British heavy metal, but like 2017?
Here's
basically?
what I was thinking about this earlier. I mean, Night Demon, first of all, they're legit. There's nothing put on about these guys. They're genuine guys. Their music's genuine. And yeah, you're taking all these great things from, Priest and Maiden, and I hear Diamond Head, you hear Metallica, you hear, you hear all these bands in there, and but at the same time, it's nothing, it's nothing put on, and it's nothing that's not original, and it's nothing that's it sounds like them too at the same time.
Yeah.
I don't know. That kind of sounds like I'm just talking in circles, but there's a freshness to it that not every band coming out these days that try to do that have. And this new song's badass. I can't wait for this new record. So, I can't say enough good things about these guys.
Yeah. Yeah. When I hear at times, like, you mentioned Iron Maiden, but it's like the first two Maiden albums.
Yeah.
The Paul Di'Anno era.
Yeah.
And it's real. There's several songs where I would almost get that from the vocals, even though he doesn't really sound like Paul Di'Anno, but it's just the same style, I guess, of singing.
It's a raw, new wave of British heavy metal vibe, I think. So, which is really cool. It's just, it's just balls out, and, I don't know, just listen to these records. It's going to be great.
Yeah. Yeah, the first album, Curse to the Dam, has it's one of those all killer, no filler albums.
Satan? Are you kidding me? I fucking love that song.
Yeah.
Heavy Metal Heat.
Yeah, Heavy Metal Heat's like the perfect,
It's the perfect anthem.
Party rock anthem,
Yeah, you want to just open beers and slam them against your head. And,
yeah.
It's crazy. And that's, I feel like that's what they want you to do when they wrote this song.
Right.
So fuck yeah.
Yeah. And I love that. I love Mastermind and The Chalice and Curse to the Damned and, just the whole thing. And then, like you said, the new song, Welcome to the Night, it's got a cool video out. And he kind of mentioned in here there should be another song coming out before the album drops here on April 21st.
Good. Well, when we saw him play in the Chalice, they had the Chalice Demon come out.
Yeah.
That was badass.
Yeah, they got their mascot, Rocky.
Yeah.
The skeleton dude. That's another thing you mentioned, it's like, that's smart when metal bands do that, and this is the type of metal that works with. You think of like all those bands like Megadeth and Anthrax and Maiden, Motorhead, who have a recognizable, whether it be an actual character like Megadeth or Maiden that came out on stage, and that's what they've got going on.
It's smart, and it gives you something you can get behind. Fans can be like, that's mine. That's their mascot, but it's mine too,
Yeah.
I think that's great. And their live show was, they've got their own kind of, their lights and, the banners, and they've got everything is, professional and planned out. They're not messing around.
Yeah.
It was really impressive.
Yeah. Lights, smoke, fans, everything.
Yes.
It's heavy metal at its finest.
Yep. And machine gun moves with the guitars across the stage.
Right.
I mean, that you chuckle a little bit, but that's what you want to see.
Yeah.
That's what I want from my heavy metal. And, yeah, so.
But the other thing we kind of touch on in this interview is bands like this and this style of metal, they're usually dual guitar attacks.
Yeah.
And they're not, and that's great. It's a trio, and
yeah.
they don't need it.
Yeah, it still sounded huge.
Yeah.
And they're on the right track, and I want to see these guys get bigger. I want everybody out there to go check out Night Demon. You will not be disappointed at all. I mean, they put everything into this.
Yeah. Yeah, we're ready to just get into this interview then?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, check this out. This is Jarvis, Dusty, and Armand from Night Demon.
They're cool dudes. We're like buddies with them. It's kind of weird, It's like you watch the movie and you're like, oh yeah, Like I remember my girlfriend got me that movie for Christmas. She got me the DVD. I'd never watched it, but it was like right when it came out, 2008, 2009, something like that. But yeah, I had known about the band. I'd known like a couple. Like I knew Forged in Fire and Metal on Metal. I knew those records, but yeah, it was interesting. And then we did a week of shows with them last year on the West Coast, and they really liked us, so they asked us to do this, and the timing worked out. But it's cool. It's cool to play with them every night for sure, and they're interesting dudes. The movie's pretty. It seems pretty accurate, wouldn't you say?
I think so. I mean, I waited. I didn't see the movie before we did the first shows.
Oh,
so I waited. I said, you know what?
We were in Germany when you watched it.
Yeah, and then when I watched it, I was like, all right, yep, it makes sense, man.
Yeah, we
These
were in Germany staying at a
hilarious,
friend's
dude.
house, and he's like, "You've never seen that movie?" And he's like, "We got to watch it now."
That's great.
But no, they really respect us as like a real, you know what I mean, like a legit good band. I mean, they tell us all the time, like, they'll joke like, "Hey, so when you guys gonna take us on tour one day, right? Don't forget about us, guys." Come on, guys, whatever. Funny.
But it's the same, those guys like to smoke weed all day, and Lips just sleeps all day, and it's cool, man. It's cool to be around them. Like, it's a really good vibe. Sometimes you're on tour with bands that are good, but they're just not.
They keep to themselves.
For some reason, there's just not like you don't create a bond, But that doesn't happen a lot. I mean, actually, we get along with most bands we tour with, for sure.
Pretty personable dudes,
But sometimes, just different kinds of people just, would normally never hang out together,
Yeah.
But those guys are cool for sure.
Yeah. Nice.
Yeah, it's been good. The shows have been rocking, Like, they definitely have a different, same kind of crowd as when we went with Raven, but we are getting new fans that didn't see us then.
Yeah.
So, it's kind of a similar, somewhat crowd. We're still getting new fans.
Vice versa. So, we're pulling our own weight on this one, which actually feels good, because you do support tours and you're like, okay, we're doing this to get exposed to another different kind of audience, But our fans are showing up in good numbers, so it feels good that we're pulling our own weight on the tour and like earning our money on it at least,
Definitely.
Well, you've done these, like you said, Raven, you did Diamond Head, right?
Mm-hmm.
Anvil. Like you said, it's along the same lines. How was it when you were doing that tour last year with Crowbar and who was it?
Ghoul and Carcass.
Yeah.
Carcass,
yeah.
Like, how were the crowds
great.
responding to you on that?
We do really well on the extreme metal tours.
We were a little like at first because we're the first band of the night. So like some nights we were on at like 7:30.
Yeah.
Like doors open at 7. We're on at 7:30 or 7:15. We're like fuck. But people were showing up early, and so like, we have a good crowd every night, and then sure enough, like we're like selling like merch, like kind of kicking ass, like with these other even
killer artwork too. We were always trying to have that.
It definitely did really well for us.
People will look at our stuff before the show and like hesitate, and then they're like, all right, I got to see these guys, and then when they see us, then they're like, okay, the artwork matches the quality of the band.
Yeah, because you see the stuff, I'm like, they're probably going to be pretty cool. So I'm going to be okay with this.
Yeah, totally.
But you're right. I have seen some merch tables where the T-shirts look cooler than the band sounds.
Yeah, right. Everybody's skeptical at first. They're just like, yeah, we'll see. I might get a shirt.
I've bought T-shirts from real shitty bands. Yeah, there's some good stuff.
Any you care to name?
No.
Okay.
No. But I don't know. If you see me wearing something, I might not like the band. Yeah.
So what about you guys are known for your live show? What's it like when you're playing a place like this, where it's like extremely tight?
We still do whatever we can to make it. Like we're equipped to do a big stage or play on the floor. I mean, we'll still bring some shit. We're gonna smoke this fucking room out. It's still gonna be cool.
We're making an event here.
Yeah.
We do the same thing as what we do on a regular stage, like you said. But when people are walking up the street and they see fog creeping out of the doorway and light show popping off, it makes them want to come inside.
Yeah.
And it's loud, so. And the people that are our friends here that we've grown to know, it makes it fun because it's more of a party than it is a show.
Yeah, we've had some pretty fun shows.
Really good,
Some of the smaller ones have been more fun than
we always look forward to doing it if we can. It's like every time we see, all right, where are we? Okay, where's Tulsa? Oh, it's right here.
Yeah,
we got a couple days off. All right, let's call the boys. Let's set something up. Because this would be a day off.
Absolutely.
We try to fill our days off as much as we can.
It's actually pretty cool around here. There's a lot of cool stuff going on, and there's cool architecture and shit. And it's just it's cool. It's not what you'd think, when you're from California, it's like Oklahoma's you just think of a farmer and shit like that. It's like, no, dude, there's real people everywhere. So, but it's kind of cool to see that. There's actually stuff that's cooler here than the town where we come from. So,
Yeah, we don't mind playing the small venues though. When people are right up in your face, it just kind of gives it a little bit more of a
as long as it's not like feeling, in Latin America.
Yeah, they're not jumping off the monitors.
When they're in your face, there, dude, they're biting you and shit. They're so excited,
passionate,
taking selfies with you as you're playing.
Yeah, trying to talk to you while you play. Hey man, hey,
dude. There was one night on this tour, some chick was up front, showing me this picture of me as she's filming me. She's facing the screen towards me. I'm like, put that shit away, man. What are you doing? I want to see that. What are you trying to show me?
When they're doing shit like that, taking selfies while you're playing this, how do you handle that? I mean, do you just let it go?
We don't really get involved.
Swift kick to the back.
Yeah. Or if anybody's got eyes that knows the place, get them on and be like, hey, don't let anybody up here. And when you kick them off, don't just throw them off.
I've done some shitty things. I stepped on a phone once. A guy had it against the barricade, against the railing of the stage, Yeah, and I stepped on it once. I just
he'll kick purses off and beers when people.
That's my thing. I always kick off purses and beer. It's dude, it's not a table.
Yeah, exactly.
But especially in Europe, that's what they do. They get there, they get right to the front, they put all their shit on the front of the stage. But we go we use. Man, I'm not kidding you. We're only 3 guys, but we use every fucking square inch of the stage in the front, at least. We're always we'll climb in front of the monitors. People are constantly having to move their arms and shit like that. Actually, though, that when we started this tour, the first night I dropped one of the guitar cabinets on my foot, and man, it hurt so bad. I thought I broke it, and it was really bruised. And the next night I was, I put my foot on the monitor and I'm rocking out, and this dude was in the front row and he was all excited and he was just pounding my foot, it's all yeah, and I was like, oh fuck, yeah. So I guess I ask for it if I go up there, but yeah, I'm always, you can tell when we walk up and you see hands move, you can see who's paying attention. It's crazy. You'll have people in the front row that are in that phone zone.
Yeah.
They have San Antonio the other night. This girl was on it, and she was totally stuck. She was wearing one of the shirts of our band. She was on her phone, and I just walked up to her. She didn't even know I was in front of her while we were playing, and I just kind of stood there and waited for her, and she looked up. She's like, oh, And I was like, what's on the phone,
Good Lord.
I'm guilty of it too, man, I mean, I'm never in the front row at shows, though, so that's different. But I don't know. Maybe she was tweeting something nice
About how cool you guys were.
maybe.
She was there.
Right.
Maybe.
About a year ago at a show, I thought he was gonna kick some guy's ass because he had a fucking iPad.
Oh,
Like,
dude.
He was at the front of the stage.
Yeah.
It was a downtown lounge, like we're talking about a minute ago.
Oh, yeah.
John Corabi had it like right in Corabi's face,
Yep.
and he never said shit. Never anything. The
I
guy just
would've.
dealt with it. But
Yeah, I thought Krabby was going to slap it away, and he
Yeah,
just
Yeah,
he
that's
went with
too
it.
much.
I do
man.
shit
It
all
is,
the
yeah,
time.
way
Sometimes
too much.
people have these video cameras and they have these lights, and they
Oh,
add them on
yeah.
these sticks. And I'm like, no, dude.
Yeah.
No.
It happened in Ecuador, didn't it? They popped it off.
Oh, yeah.
More
I told
kind of
them, yeah,
recently.
well, nope.
Yeah, as soon as they pulled it out, we're all, no! Everybody's just throwing their arms up. Get that thing out of here, dude.
Yeah, we're already in Ecuador.
No,
dude.
thanks.
We don't need any,
I don't need the news.
You need to
on
pour
my
more
face.
salt on the wound. We're already in Ecuador and the amps don't work.
Yeah, the drum kit's falling apart.
Uh,
It was like a field day in,
That's
in
right, that's
fucking
little
my
water
sophomore
show,
year of
that's
high
right.
school. That's what it was like.
Yeah, the camera costs more than the fucking amps we're playing. The whole backline, I'm sure.
yeah.
For sure, dude.
Yeah, that was a good
But
one.
hey, it's for the kids, man.
Playing at 9,500 feet, dealing with
Yeah.
that kind of crowd.
well, you kind of mentioned the crowds in South America. Like, what's the biggest difference between a place like that and America or even Europe? Is it just the
Weird,
over-the-top passion?
I don't want to say that any of them are better than the other, Like, metalheads are metalheads, Like, you could go to Germany and see people pretty reserved, but a lot of people there,
Just
but
attentive.
But, like, the guy in the back that's not rocking out probably has all the records, knows all the words, loves the band most. But I don't know, like, in third world, people are just more starving for it, I guess, They're, like, impressed by it, and they're, like, they feel like they don't have the resources to do it themselves, or they don't see a lot of bands, So, and they don't have the records or anything, They're not distributed there, or they're like they just can't afford them, So they're like always on YouTube, Spotify, and shit like that, checking out the band. And then they like to fucking party too, That's the thing. They like to party down there, and like a lot of it's just like I just want to get fucked up and go crazy at a show, So, but
Whether
I think
remember it or not, I was there.
yeah,
like-
right, exactly.
Oh, look, I took a picture with them.
Yeah, like there's one place in Brazil. It was a pretty small town, so like these people were like super fucking pumped on it. And, like, yeah, man. Like as soon as we were done, it's like the stage. They just rushed the stage, man. Just like trying to take pictures while we're like trying to put my shit away, and like because I don't know if someone's gonna just grab my guitar and run off with it, and like stuff like that. You never know. We don't know where we are, who's there. It's kind of outside, and and it's just like hold on, and then you're trying to like communicate with them. You can't really. But it's like 5 minutes.
But they get pretty abrasive too, just like when you're walking into the place.
Crabby, you get there.
And it's kind of weird. You don't want to feel like, oh, they feel entitled or whatever. I mean, it's just a cultural difference, I guess.
Like in America, we can walk in the room, nobody wants to take a picture, nobody gives a shit, they don't care if anything gets signed. We have our certain fans that like want that kind of stuff, but over there, it's like everybody wants it.
Yeah.
Like as soon as you walk in, they're just like, oh, and the party's on.
Selfie.
Yeah.
That's what they say. They want to take a picture with you. They call it selfie.
By the way, I want to say, like, technology is great, but cell phone cameras are the worst.
Yeah.
Like it takes way too long to take photos, man. People are like, "Oh, this," and I gotta set it
Because
up.
half the
and,
time
like,
they don't
what do I
know.
do?
They
And
haven't
the
seen a
flash,
buddy
and
that
then
doesn't know
another
how to
one.
use it.
Yeah.
It's like,
No,
They give someone else
bring
enough
a real
fucking-
camera and just you press the button. It's instinct. Just goes click. Like you're there.
you can't see it,
Yeah.
which is good because then you can't be like, oh,
Exactly.
let me take another one.
Exactly. Even digital cameras, like nobody knows how to use them. Everybody has almost the same phone too.
Yeah.
They just can't figure it out. So it takes a lot longer, man. It's a pain in
Plus,
the ass.
normally by that time, the buddy taking the pictures 3 sheets to the
Oh,
wind.
yeah.
So he's got his finger in front of the lens,
Yeah, right.
I'm guilty of that. I was trying to take a picture of him with the singer from Huntress, and
Jill.
I was drunk and I couldn't figure it out.
She was probably drunk too.
and she grabbed it and he was like, "Here, honey, I got one of these phones." And
She's
she
like, this
fixes
is
it
the
and hands it
exact
back.
phone I have, and she fixed it all for me.
Oh wow.
Well, that's good.
I was like, so I was
And
that asshole.
she looked good doing it, so.
It's true. Cool.
Well, let's talk about Darkness Remains. Got this coming out here in a few weeks.
Oh,
You've already heard the one song. Like, we assume we know what it's going to sound like, but are there anything different than the first album people can
Yeah.
look forward to?
Yeah, I'd say there might be a little surprise on there. you know, for some people. I don't want to really say what it is yet, but you know, just leave it at that.
We got another single coming out April 7th, the song Hollow Ground. So 2 singles coming out before the album. So far it's gotten good reviews. Not a lot of people have heard it yet, a lot of the press, but what we've gotten so far has been really solid, man. Which is good because the first 2 the EP and then the first record got like, you know, great reviews too. So we felt a lot of pressure to follow that up. But so far, man, it's been awesome.
Yeah, really good feedback.
Well, we felt good about it, but, you know, when you get the reassurance from the people that you care most about their opinion, that's when you know you kind of did it the way we wanted to do it.
Yeah.
Try not to overthink it, just go in there and do it. You know, the first 2 songs that are going to be, you know, the first singles are kind of just hit you in the mouth, kind of go for it kind of mentality, you know?
You'll see ballad for later.
Yeah, you'll see some of the waves. You know, people might think, "Oh, this is like going to be like this from start to finish," and it has its moments where it kind of dips down and kind of goes on its own little journey.
But overall, it's good. I think it's the best thing we've done so far, and
I agree.
It's fun though. All Night Demon records are always kind of fun. They always have that kind of vibe to it. Not silly, you know, but it's enjoyable. It's, you know. It's like, all right, you know?
You gotta like your own music, you know? If we didn't like our own music, we'd be defeating the purpose.
Yeah.
And, you know, we like this. And for us to play some new, fresh tunes and actually have to think about what we're playing on some of these new songs, that's what makes it fun. Because Curse, we exhausted it and played it a lot.
Oh, man, we played that record so much, man. We played, before it even came out, we didn't have enough songs because all we had was the EP. We toured Europe, we toured the States on that EP, and we were already starting to play some of the songs that were going to be on Curse of the Damned. So, yeah, those songs have been around forever. So, it does feel good to play some new songs, for sure.
As soon as we start our Europe tour, April 21st will be the day that the record comes out. So we start our first show out there in Germany the day of the record, which is pretty cool.
With
Angel Witch.
Yep.
Yeah, with Angel
awesome.
Witch. You know, so that's kind of like, that's going to be a fun one. That's
we fly out of LA on 420, smoke our last bowl. because in Europe, man, the weed is fucking terrible.
As good.
Yeah, and it's just
except in like Holland or something.
Even
you know?
there, man.
Yeah, but you know, you have some variety.
It's so hard to find too. You know, I mean, you would think, you know,
everybody rolls spliffs, and then they only put a little bit of weed in there, and then you're like, I mean, you got a little jar there, like put some more in there. Like, no. Okay.
I remember looking at a guy in Belgium at that festival we played. I remember making him roll a joint with all the weed. He's like, "You're crazy. It's such a waste." I go, "Come on, just fucking do it." And then I made him hotbox the car. And he didn't know about that either. He didn't know anything about that. Hotbox? I go, keep the windows up, motherfucker, you know? Yeah. And after that, he was like, fuck, dude. He was fucking just ripped. Yeah. Well, that's how you
California guys.
That's how you got to do it, though, man. Yeah. That's how you got to do it.
Well, who produces you guys?
Us.
You do?
Yeah, we're
Is
three.
It at your studio?
We're 3
No,
producers.
we do pretty much. I mean, my role, as you know, I've now been playing in the band for a little over a year. I recorded the first EP, so we did that at my place. Then there was a version of the Curse of the Damned that was recorded when Dusty first joined the band. And then they went on the road for a while, and it was like, well, we got to do it now again because it's a different vibe and wrote new songs. We have a really good friend of ours that I learned how to do this shit with.
But you're on the album as with producer credits.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Our friend Roger, who did Curse of the Damned, helped produce.
Yeah, but I mean, we're definitely in there making a final decision.
And we recorded it at the same place we did Curse of the Damned. The version
we don't hire a producer and be like, all right, you know, the record label doesn't hire a producer. They pretty much let us do what we want to do.
Yeah.
And we just
which is the glory of today's day.
We hand them the fit. We hand them the finish.
Yeah, we don't
product.
give them any demos or anything, so they don't have a chance to say anything until it's done. You know,
because they'll always say something.
Yeah, and we're our own worst critics as well, and it's never really good enough for us either. But you know, at some point, you just got to say, "Well, I think that'll do it."
But we got to meet a deadline too. You know,
yeah.
It's like, fuck, right?
Yeah.
It's just nice to have that sometimes because when you don't have a deadline, man, sometimes you can just shit can drag on for
stuff
way too long. You know, and then you lose the feel, you lose the vibe of it. But I think we're pretty good about knowing when to say, "All right, you know what." Yeah. That's cool. If it's not, you know, exactly perfect, it's all right. It's real. You know
we created our own deadlines for this and had to work against those. So, but once you throw it out there, they have it on that timetable. You have to do it. You know. So.
Yeah.
I think it's a good time of year to come out with something too, because you're not right in the beginning of the year where you could be forgotten about towards the end of the year. You know, it's kind of a good time to come out and then just start getting people to talk about it and get it going, you know, for the rest of the year. So, you know, curious to see what else.
We'll see what happens.
That's right.
Kind of comes out with it. You know?
Well, and you got, you know, you're getting ready for the summer and all that kind of stuff. So,
yeah, it'll be nice to have that because like people are, you know, they're already bugging us about it. Like, when are you gonna have the record? You're not gonna have it on this tour.
A lot of people thought we were gonna have new copies with us. You know, we're like, no, not for a little while yet.
Yeah,
that would be fucking great. If
I wish we did, but.
But then again, you know, then everybody'd be like, "What? They got the record before we did?
Yeah,
supposed to come out here." You know, and it's like you can't really have a release
It's pretty
date
smart though, you know, because a lot of bands, it's not a lot of bands, but some bands will do that. They'll be able to set that up that far in advance, and they'll push the release date back. Because what they can do is they sell them throughout the tour, and then they hold those numbers and turn it into SoundScan like the first week that it goes out. So they chart way fucking higher.
Yeah,
you know?
sure.
You know. Was units sold, so
Well, talk about, you know, you guys being a 3-piece. I always like 3 pieces, no matter what. I like the whole less is more thing. And, you know, you could probably easily have a second guitar player if you wanted. But I still think it sounds pretty effective as it is. I don't know if you guys ever thought about that or...
Yeah, Armand was going to be... We wanted Armand to be the second guitar player when we started, But so, you know, when our other guy left, then we got him. And so we don't have, you know...
Yeah.
I think it would just... We would know the guy, then we'd have to do it, you know?
That's the thing with me being able to come in, like, as a new guy, but I'm not a new guy to these guys, you know? We're like... Me and Jarvis went to school together. I've known Dusty for 8 years. We've played in other bands together.
Yeah.
You know, I've worked on the albums. I knew the songs in my head already, you know what I mean?
He played drums for Night Demon for one gig.
He actually did,
On the transition between me and John, the previous drummer, Armand played one gig with them before I was actually... I was like just starting to rehearse with the band. I didn't know the stuff all that well. I was just learning the Curse songs, not the EP at that time.
So it's like that's always a tricky thing because it's not only like a player-wise, but personality-wise. How's it going to gel?
We're
in the fucking band together, you know? It's like, man.
We live with each other.
And I personally never liked 3-pieces. I never did. Yeah. I think when I was young, I was always in a 3-piece, and I hated that, you know? I always wanted that second guitar, so I never liked 3-pieces. And, like, you know, I always thought, like, a lot of 3-pieces sounded weak, you know? Mm-hmm. And so that's why... Now I think, you know, we've purposely not tried to sound weak. You know, I mean, we've done the opposite. So now I think if we had a second guitar, it'd be just too much. Man. Yeah. And then this is kind of funny. Like, I was thinking about it on stage the other night, man. We were playing. Like, it was a decent sized stage, but I was like, dude, there's no room for anybody else.
We use the fucking the whole stage.
But really, there's no room for anybody else.
But in our town, we're like 3 of the best players in town. Yeah. So, you know, we make a pretty good 3-piece based on the fact that we can play songs. You know, that's just what we grew up on, and we know how to gel with each other. We know how to communicate without even talking sometimes. You know, it's just kind of like, when you have that understanding with each other, why add another person to just complicate things?
Yeah, true.
You know, we have a hard enough time having a 4th member as our merch guy, light guy, mascot, all that kind of stuff.
It's not going to make it better. You know, I really don't think so. I don't think, like, I mean, I see where it could add in some areas, but I don't see how it would really improve it, you know? I mean...
Well, once you see the band, like a lot of people always say, they're like, wow, man, I wasn't sure, like, how it was going to sound with just 3 of you guys, but... Damn, like you guys, it fills out. It never drops out.
What I said day one, listening to these guys write the first 4 songs. Armand and I were in a band together, and our rehearsal space, where his studio is right next door to where Night Demon wrote the EP. So we'd be jamming with our band and walk out and listen to them write and be like, man, like to just see 3 people walk out and be like, where's the rest of the band? They're like, this is it. Like, what? You guys are loud, man.
That's
I had
awesome,
no idea.
you know?
But you know, like, I grew up watching, like, fucking Green Day and shit and being like, man, there's a reason they got that second guitar player stands behind the amps, dude. You know? And that's the thing. This record has, like, better songwriting and it's more progressive. And so we were like, how are we going to do this with 3 people? And we figured out how to make it work, you know? It's you kind of get creative in that sense, you know?
Less is more.
Yeah, it's just crazy. But it's so easy to write songs where, like, okay, here's all this extra shit. And then you're like, okay, you got to go play it live. Then you got to fucking hire some people, you know? Yeah. It's like, fuck, I'm just not interested.
We do have some, like, keyboard parts and stuff here and there, but, you know, nothing that's detrimental.
It's just colors.
Yeah, nothing detrimental to the... If we wanted to play that song live, it doesn't matter.
Gotcha.
You know, we'll pull it off.
How many of these new songs are you guys playing currently?
Just two, just the first two singles, just because we don't. It's crazy with the internet now and YouTube. Shit leaks like overnight.
Right.
Yeah. Live.
We
It
played
leaks
it-
while you're doing it.
We played a new song in October at a festival, and I remember saying on the mic something to the fact of like, hey, can you please turn off all your cameras, digital recorders? We want to play a new song for you guys. The song's not going to be out for like 8 months, you know? Oh, yeah, you know. I mean, there was a lot of people there, so, I mean, it was like, you know, almost 900 people there. So I don't know, like, we did what. But anyway, the next day, I start getting messages from fans. Oh, man, new song rules. Like what? Yeah, here's a YouTube link.
Yeah.
So
At least they said new song rules, and like,
when you asked them to turn their cameras off, they probably turned them on.
Right, exactly.
Yeah,
So I went and listened to it myself, and then you could clearly hear me say that, you know?
Yeah.
And so we just called the label and said, hey, take it down, and they fucking did it within an hour. Because I tried to message the guy on YouTube, and it's just like messaging disabled, you know. and so I was like, hey, you guys know how to do this, you know. And they're like, oh, yep. So they just said, okay, it's done.
Cool.
You know, they just threaten him with lawsuits and shit, you know.
Yeah.
And they're like,
You gotta
okay.
keep
it right
some
down.
sort of like a little bit of mystery with your band
Yeah,
nowadays. You know, you can't
definitely.
just give everybody what the heck you're doing.
Mhm.
You know, because then they can just watch it on YouTube, not even go to the
Yeah,
show.
I mean, they're already gonna fucking
know?
stream it and download it for free when it comes out anyway. So it's like, just wait, you know.
And usually their stupid fucking cell phone sounds terrible
Yeah,
on YouTube
right.
anyway.
That's the thing.
Bad
It's horrible.
representation,
And
you know.
so it's going to look bad
Somebody's
on
head
you.
is right
Somebody's
in the
going
middle of
to.
the shot.
And here's the
you
thing
know.
too. There's a lot of like, you know, like I've always tried to get that stuff offline, and I always tell people like when we hit them up, like, hey, you know, if you want to give us the real files for it, like if it's a kind of semi-professional recording, like, you know, we may add it later onto a DVD or something, you know, and but we don't like to have all that stuff on there. At this point in the band, we're established enough where that's not really going to give us any more visibility. It just kind of makes us look bad. Like we have content that we produce, like live videos or stuff we've done on TV shows and like, you know, music videos and stuff that we put out officially, which is like, yeah, that's like what, you know, with your art and stuff, like you want to present it the way you want to present it, you know, not like it's funny, sometimes some of the biggest like videos on YouTube, like some of the ones that have the most hits are the ones that are like were some of the worst shows. You know? So you're like playing in Sweden at like 11 in the morning or some shit, you know, and it's like and it's like, dude, you know,
You'd only been a band at that point for like 7 months.
Yeah.
You know? And everybody's like, yeah, I saw your YouTube video. Yeah, man, you guys are all right. And you're like, no, man. It's like, not even close, bro.
Yeah, okay, yeah. When people come to your show and go, man, checked you guys out on YouTube, live some stuff, I liked it. Then I saw you guys live, and I was like, whoa. And I was like, well, what'd you watch on YouTube? Oh, live video. I'm like, well, what the fuck, you know? So, anyway.
But I think with the new record, people are going to kind of see a progression, and it'll kind of like capture a bit more of our live sound through the recording than what Curse might have, you know.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and over time, we've changed a member, and we've worked on our sound and have gotten better as players, you know, and songwriters. So, you know, it's a good thing.
You guys have this classic metal, new wave of British heavy metal sound. Like, what are some of your favorite bands from that era?
Oh, dude.
Angel Witch!
Angel Witch, Diamond Head, Jaguar, Saxon, Maiden, you know, I mean, all of them. I will listen to every band from that era. Every single one of them.
Jaguar's
you know?
one of your personal faves.
Oh, for sure, dude. It's just anything from that. And it's crazy with the internet, you find all this other newer
LaGriff.
old shit.
You've ever heard of LaGriff?
I've seen the name, but
Oh, dude, their first two EPs are just killer.
Who is it?
LaGriff, they're from the UK, right?
Yeah, it's
I'm going to go look it up.
they had like 2 EPs, like in like 79.
One was called
and
Fast
80.
Bikes, dude, and that is the shit right there, dude.
Nice.
Yeah.
But that's great about the internet. You just find shit and you're like, oh wow, you know?
And meeting fans that, like, this one guy in Houston, like, is legit cat from the 80s, you know, and gives us, like, these mixtapes when he sees us. Hey, man, I know you got a cassette deck in your van. Here you go. This is from fucking 83 or something. Like, what?
That's awesome.
Yeah, a lot of unsung heroes out there.
Yeah, the other day, I told Alexa to play Night Demon, and she played Demon, Night of the Demon. And I had never heard that. I don't know.
It's good.
It's
It's
fucking great.
Well, see, okay, here's the funny thing, and people may call me a poser for this, but I never even heard of that band until our band started. And, like, I Googled our name to just see, like, right when we started, let's see if anybody's talking about it. And I was like, what the fuck, Demon? Okay, and yeah, I heard that, Demon, Night of the Demon, and I was like, what? Like, yeah, and that's become a big influence for me since then. The first 2 records of that band, that one and The Unexpected Guest, really good. And I got to see them in the UK last December, and that was cool. And we're actually going to play with them at Rock Hard Festival in Germany. Yeah, in May. Yeah, they're really great though, man. I mean, that band is killer. It's like, it's weird. Like, it's super, like, the lyrics are super evil, you know, but it's just good rock. It's almost like Rick Springfield was in a metal band, dude. Yeah. It's really
great
good.
songs.
Yeah.
Totally.
Right
Cool,
on.
man. Well, we appreciate you guys' time.
thanks.
Yeah, man.
You guys,
Thanks.
thank you.
Give Anvil a ribbing for us, for sure.
Right, yeah.
Well, there you go. Jarvis, Armand, and Dusty of Night Demon. Very cool. Sat down with them. We did that at the Sound Pony when they came through Tulsa.
Yes.
And, you know, just thank you to those guys for taking the time out. Extremely personable dudes, you know. We talked to them for quite a bit before we even hit record.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, just
From the get-go, you know, they're asking us questions about what we got going on. So it's always cool whenever, you know, you meet people that are personable.
yeah, such a great vibe. And, you know, shout out to our buddy Justin, JP.
Yes.
He went with us, and, you know, it was great.
Yeah. And then, like we said, we saw them in Oklahoma City opening for Anvil.
Yes,
And speaking of, we've got Lips from Anvil coming up next week.
that's right.
So be on the lookout for that. And we talk about Night Demon again in that one. And, of course, you'll hear about the Anvil show when we saw Night Demon open up for him. But Anvil went on and tore the place up as well. So,
That's right. We'll get into that next week.
yeah, definitely. Like we said, Night Demon. Hey, I want to mention one thing. I just got to say that Dusty from Night Demon has the best set of tattoos I've ever seen on one person.
Well, let's run them down.
Because he has Poison's logo on his arm. He has Whitesnake's logo on his arm. He has the cover of Dirty, Rotten, Filthy, Sinking Rich by Warrant on his arm.
Yeah, he's got the Accept Metal Heart.
You're right. Then he's got the Metallica Chinese star on his elbow.
Yeah.
And then on the other side, the other arm, he had a skull with Ultimate Warrior's face paint on it.
That's right.
And that's just what
And
I remember off the
he
top
had
of
the
my-
Appetite for Destruction cross.
Did he?
Yeah.
I didn't even see that.
Yep.
That's the pinnacle of them all.
Bam.
Yeah, I'm like, this is me in tattoo form, basically. You know?
I don't know. You didn't seem like much of a Metal Heart guy to me.
Well, almost.
Okay, we'll let that one go.
I like Accept, but yeah, I've never been
That's a great record. by
die
the
hard
way.
about him.
Great
Yeah.
record.
Yeah. Well, what else do we got to say? We got some cool shows coming up.
Yes,
Tonight
we
in
do.
Tulsa, Gemini Syndrome's playing with some great opening acts from Oklahoma.
That's
We've got
right.
Reliance Code from Stigler. We've got Fist of Rage and Alter Blood both from Tulsa. So that'll be great.
Yes, we will
Then-
be there.
Thursday night at Billy and Renee's in Tulsa, we've got Scorned. And then what's going on this weekend? Local H is playing the Shrine.
Yeah, Redneck Nosferatu and
That's right. There's
Mad on Acid, and I think Forever in Disgust. God.
yeah, and the Decomposed.
Yes, that's right. Playing at Billy and Renee's Saturday night.
Yeah. That's a great lineup right there.
Yeah, it
Kinda
is.
all different facets of. Got some punk, but then you got Forever and Disgust thrown in there as well. That'll
That's
be
right.
good. If you're new to this podcast, go back and check out some previous episodes. We've got 114 previous ones, and there's stuff from. If you like that old school metal, like we're talking about with Night Demon, we've had on guys from Overkill and Death Angel. We had on Chris Broderick, he was in Megadeth for close to a decade. We've
Yeah.
had on Corrosion and Conformity, Crowbar.
Wino.
Yeah, there's like the pinnacle of old school metal right there.
Yeah.
And then we've had on, like we mentioned, Dusty's Tattoos. We've had on guys from Warrant, Bullet Boys, Trickster, Great White, Lillian Axe, Europe, that whole vein of stuff. And then we've had on guys from, like we talked about Custom Black earlier, guys from the Truck Fighters, the Sword, that fits along in that vein
Yeah.
as well.
We've had on like Drowning Pool, Avatar, stuff like that.
Yeah,
But yeah, I mean, can you believe we sat on the couch with Wino?
yeah.
I
That's
mean,
still
could you
hard to
believe?
believe,
It's like, what the fuck? Did that happen to us?
huh? Right? Yep.
Anyway, sorry.
Well, we're also, that's on soundcloud.com/Thunder-Underground. You can also find all the newer podcasts and some of the highlighted older ones on YouTube. And right there, it's at the Thunder Underground. So click subscribe there. We also do a new show on there now where it's called Every Album in a Row, where we go through, every album in a row from an artist.
Yep.
Listen to every single song in chronological order, and then we just talk about the experience of listening to an entire catalog from a band. And we've done that with Guns N' Roses, Metallica, Megadeth, Ozzy, and Pantera.
Van Halen.
Van Halen's not out yet.
Oh, shit. Sorry.
Yeah. But
well, it's coming out.
Yeah, it'll be coming out here later this week. So there you go.
And we're working on Motley Crue.
Yeah.
Which I'm already 2 albums in, and you haven't even started.
No, I'll get it there.
Okay. Yeah. But we've got
that'll be a fun one. Yeah.
We've got T-shirts, koozies. If you're a band, email us. We'd like to play your stuff. Trent, he hates most of everything, but I'm over there kind of, saying, you need to lighten up. So
I hate most of everything. I love J-Lo's ass.
So we'll play it, even though, Trent's going to be talking shit about it, but I'll get it on the air, I promise.
Did you hear me talking about how much I love Custom Black earlier? That band's fucking badass.
Hey, I just like to give you shit, man.
I know.
That's what I do.
Yeah, it's great.
I gotta do.
Well, another thing to point out is every Monday night we're on WSNR 102.7. You can find them at that, WSNR102.7.com. You can also go on to download the Crikey Premium Radio app and turn the dial to 102.7. We're on every Monday night, 7 p.m. Central, and, you can hear us live streaming on there. We happy to be a part of it, and look forward to continuing that.
Definitely.
Yeah. You can also find us at thethunderunderground.com, find us on Facebook and Twitter, all that great stuff. And the email, like Jason said, to send your music is thethunderunderground@gmail.com. Is there anything else you want to talk about?
I think we covered it.
Other than on April 21st, Century Media is releasing Darkness Remains from Night Demon. So remember, once again, you can pre-order that thing now, vinyl, all that great stuff.
Which you should go do.
Yeah. So get with it. Century Media, hey, Body Count's also on that label.
That's
we
right.
talked about them earlier.
That's right.
And Queensryche and Scorpions, we got Klaus Mine from Scorpions coming up in a couple episodes, so be on the lookout for that.
What?
I hadn't told you about that
No,
yet.
you didn't tell me about this.
No.
Okay.
It's going to be great.
Everybody, that's probably a lie.
All right.
Trent has gone crazy. This is time to just turn it off.
All right. Until next time.
Thunder Underground, y'all.